All right, Jeep TJ 4-liter. The project of the day is to make easy work of swapping out, as a one-man show I will say, swapping out the steering box and doing this as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So here's what happened. Yesterday I picked up this steering box. It came with the pitman arm, the lines, the pump, and the pulley. Unfortunately, the pulley was broken, so what I decided to do is I was going to change out my entire system and drop it as a one-piece unit and then swap in the pulley when everything was back into place. Here's how I did it. You come over here and I get these 3 steering box bolts, which are they are 5/8, and I put about 2 minutes of propane heat onto them, and then I shoot them with cold water to give them a shock treatment. I do all 3 like that, and then as I'm letting them cool down, came over here, put a 1/2-inch drive on the tensioner, remove the belt. What you want to do is just make sure that you have taken some pictures, or you have your sticker on your rad, or you do a quick Google search as to how it goes back on, so you don't mess that up. Next step was to remove the coolant overflow bottle, this nipple here. It lives, let me see now, it lives in that hole right there. So you push on it, lifts up the bottle, put it aside. Next step, come on over here to your power steering pump. You're going to need a 1/2-inch deep socket, and you'll want to position the pulley so that the holes allow the socket to get to the bolts, and just crack, what I did is I crack one, retighten it, crack the other one, retighten it, crack the third one. Once the third one's loose, I take that one out, I take the second one out, and in my case, I left one bolt in so that the pump would stay in place while I was doing other stuff. Next step, I came down here to the ball joint that connects the drag link to the pitman arm. It's a 3/4 inch, so I loosened up that nut. 2 shots of the hammer onto the pitman arm, and it came out nicely, so that was no big deal. Next step was the steering shaft bolt, which lives down there. There are 1 or 2 ways to do it. You can either remove your plastic cover on your front bumper and have access to it through here, or the way I did it is I put the steering wheel at 2 o'clock, and when it's at 2 o'clock you can access it from underneath, and a 1/2-inch drive, 1/2-inch socket just takes that out. And what I did is I loosened it up nicely so that I knew that the steering shaft would be able to be pried off. Went back into the cab, put the steering wheel at 12 o'clock, because in all likelihood this steering box was removed when the steering was in the 12 o'clock position, or pretty close. And anyway, it's pretty much dummy proof because it has a flat part to it that it can only really go in one way. So see that flat top there at about 12 o'clock position. So that's that. Next step, I came back to the steering box bolts. I crack one of them, tighten it, crack the other one, tighten it, crack the third one, remove it, crack the second one, remove it, and I partially removed the third one but left it in its place. Got me the jack with a brick, and I moved that up so that it was just snug underneath the steering box, and left it like that for a minute. Came back over here, power steering pump, remove the third one, and let the pump kind of hang and rest upon the steering shaft and the rad hose. In the meantime, came back over here, remove this third bolt. The steering box kind of dropped onto the brake, and slowly I brought it down, making sure there was no tension on the lines or whatever. Once that was done and it was pretty much ground level, it gave me enough room to, well, I worked from underneath, but I'm not going to give you a shot of that for right now. But basically I finagled the power steering pump through the space of the steering shaft and the lower rad hose. I will say that it would probably been easier if I would have taken the pulley off while it was on the engine. There would be less things to, get caught up in, a little bit less, less size to it, but essentially it was easy thing to do. The only thing is that I unbolted the little the I don't know what are you gonna call it, Jesus. It must be a rough day at the office over here. I just undid this bolt, which holds the front differential breather hose, to get that out of the way, and I let it dangle down at the bottom. So it's one less thing that you can get caught up in. So once that was done, I removed everything, took it down, put it right there. Next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the steering box and the pump here. I'm going to run the pump up through the rad hoses, and I'm going to kind of get it up into upper position. Then I'm going to jack up the steering box. I'm going to connect one of these or two of these bolts, just to get it into position. After that, take the power steering pump, put it back on. That'll be that. Connect up the steering shaft with the steering box, and once that's done, make sure that that's well, I'll talk about the torques in a minute. And then after that, I'll put the ball joint back onto the pitman arm, and once we're done there, we're looking at coolant overflow bottle back into its place, accessory belt, and I think that's pretty much it. These are the torque specs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the power steering pump pulley, last once it's into position. But these are the torque specs. So the frame bolts are 70. The pitman is 185. In my case, I'm not touching that. The steering shaft is 36. The pump, if you have a 4-liter, is 35. 2.4, it's 21. And the drag link is 55 pounds. And that's it. I mean, no mess, no having to bleed the system, because there's already power steering fluid in there. And like I say, one-man show, easy work. Hope that helps.